welcome back to World of Tanks. Today we are going to be reviewing the Tier 6 Russian heavy tank, the KV-1S. After you finish playing the KV-1, which is a really good Tier 5 heavy tank, you've got 3 places you can choose to go. You've got the KV-1S, the KV-2, and the T-150. KV-1S leads down to the IS-7, T-150 leads down to the IS-4, KV-2 goes straight back to the T-150. The KV-2 is an awesome tank and it's really fun to play. So if you want to mess around with it, by all means get it, but if you just want to progress down the line and make your way slowly but steadily to the Tier 10 IS-7 or the Tier 10 IS-4, you should really just get one or the other, the T-150 or the KV-1S. The T-150 leads down to a line of tanks that have more armor, less maneuverability, and less speed. They can take more shots and do lots of damage in return. The KV-1S can go 2 ways itself. It leads to either the IS or the KV-13. KV-13 is a downgrade from the KV-1S. It's a medium, and it can go to either the T-43, which leads down to the mediums, or it can go back to the IS. It's a similar story with the KV-2. If you just want to progress down the heavy tank line, I wouldn't recommend getting the KV-13. KV-1S, as far as the heavy line goes, has tanks that are have less armor and more speed and maneuverability. I don't know if you're hearing that siren in the background, but sorry about that. That's my dog howling at it. Anyway, so the IS line have less armor, more speed, and maneuverability. So that kind of gives you an idea of what the KV-1S is. We look at it in the upgrades menu, compare it to the KV-1. It's got 900 hit points, which is more than the KV-1 with the upgraded turret. The KV-1 has more armor. KV-1S has 75 at the front, which is the same as the KV-1, but the KV-1 also has 75 at the sides and 70 at the rear. KV-1S has 60 everywhere except for the front. As for the turret, the stock turret, 82 at the front, 75 at the sides, and 75 at the rear. The upgraded turret on the KV-1, 110 all around. So it's clear that this is definitely a lighter heavy tank. It trades good armor for good speed and maneuverability. It's got originally a speed limit of, let me look at it, 43 kilometers per hour, even with the upgraded engine. All the upgraded engine does is give it 100 more horsepower, which helps the acceleration, but it's a pretty fast tank with the stock turret itself, at least for heavy standards. Did I say stock turret? I meant the stock engine. Sorry about that. So you can get this new engine if you want, but you don't need it. Same kind of deal with the tracks. All it does is add more traverse speed. Don't really need them. Let's focus on the guns. So when you start out, it's a pretty weird tank, or pretty weird looking tank. The turret is small, definitely smaller than the KV-1 turret, with a little stubby gun on the front. And that's really a medium tank gun. Really, almost all the guns on this tank are medium tank guns. The stock gun does 120 damage and 64 penetration. So basically, to sum this gun up, it's got a pretty good rate of fire, but you want to get rid of it as soon as possible because you can struggle to penetrate another KV-1S from the front. so you don't really want this gun, especially because the KV-1S sees tier 8 tanks, which have way more armor than 64. And even with the premium ammo, which can do around 107 penetration, they have way more armor than 100 millimeters. So you definitely want to get rid of this gun as soon as you can. This, of course, is the 122 millimeter U11. Stubby little howitzer gun. If you like these, go ahead, try it out. Then it leads on to the 76 millimeter S54. Less damage. Oh, sorry, that's wrong. That was because I was comparing it to the howitzer. Compared to the stock gun, so it's the same damage. It has more penetration, 94 with normal ammo, and 156 millimeters with premium ammunition. Rate of fire goes down, aiming time goes up. It's more accurate, but not by much. Once again, more of a medium tank gun. Not really the gun you want to use on this. It looks kind of cool because it's long, but it's really not the gun you want on this thing. After that, you finally can unlock the second gun on this thing, which has an improved armor. It is 100 millimeters at the front and 90 at the sides and the rear, which is still worse than the KV-1's upgraded turret, which has 110 all around. This turret's basically an IS turret stuck on this tank. It does look better, but it's got a pretty big hatch up here, which is a weak spot, and this machine gun port on the back, which I'm pretty sure is a weak spot as well. Now this is where things get touchy. You're definitely going to want to get this gun. It's not even an option, you have to get this gun to do any progression. The 85mm D5T. Does more damage, less penetration, which is not too great. Rate of fire goes up, and it's a little less inaccurate. It's a little more inaccurate, sorry. Medium tank gun still, not the kind of gun you really want to be using it, but you're gonna have to. The gun you really want to use on this thing is a 122mm D2 5T gun. The thing is, though, it costs 20,060 experience. And with this gun, that is going to be a terrible, terrible, terrible grind. I'll show you why you want this gun before I tell you how horrible the grind is going to be. If you look at it, it does 300 damage, and it has 131 penetration with normal ammo. With premium ammo, it does even more damage and more penetration. So it's definitely the gun you want to be using on this tank, especially because it's actually a heavy tank gun. If you look at it, yeah, that looks more like it. There is a drawback to this gun, however. Let's look at the rate of fire. 2.86. Wow. That means you get about 3 shots per minute if you're lucky. Very slow reload. Very slow. One of the worst reloads of just about any tank. I'm not quite sure what the reload is on this thing, because it's World of Tank Blitz, it is a little bit different, but on the PC version, the reload is 15 seconds. Very, very slow reload. You will definitely notice it when you're in a battle. And that's why you really want to aim with this gun, because you miss, and then you're waiting for a long time just to get another shot in. That's also why you'll notice you can't get a lot of ammunition with this gun, because the best you can get is 26, and that's because it doesn't reload very fast. Very slow reloading gun, so you don't really need a lot of ammunition. Now, to tell you what the grind with sorry about that. With this gun, it's going to be like, well, you don't do a lot of damage. At the best, you do around 200. If you get a good damage roll, you do 248. And that's only usually if you can penetrate in a good spot. You do have a good, fairly good reload, but you're in this tank, the armor is really bad. And so even angling the tank doesn't really save it. You might bounce a shot or two if you're lucky, but usually even angling will just allow them to put shots right through you. With the gun that comes before this, the 85D 5T gun, you can't penetrate some other tier 6 tanks. There's not a lot you can't penetrate, but some of them you can't because they have very good armor. And what that gun does is it basically turns you into a medium tank because it's just how the gun works. It doesn't have good damage and it doesn't have good penetration. So you are a heavy tank, you definitely are, but you don't really have good armor, and you don't even have a good gun, so you're really just a walking medium tank that's slow. And I actually sold my KV-1S because I was so exhausted from playing it and losing so much with this gun. Because this thing gets into tier 7 and yes, tier 8 games, you are going to have a horrible time with the 85mm. It's going to be a terrible grind, especially when you're playing against tier 8s. Even tier 7s will give you massive problems because you just can't penetrate them and you just don't have the armor to block their shots. You will find that when you're using that gun, the 85mm, you will have quite a few losses stacked up in your history. Under news, your notifications, you will find quite a lot of loses. Quite a lot of games that you've lost. And really, the only way you can win games with that gun is if your team is good and the other team is bad, or you're lucky. Basically, what I suggest to make the grind a little bit easier is play this tank. Just keep playing this tank until you get to around 5,000 experience. Then take a break for however long you want, and then come back to it again and play for another 5,000 experience, which is going to be terrible, but it's better than playing it straight for the 20. And then play for another 5,000 experience later after you've taken a break, and you're already at 15,000. And finally play for your last bit of 5,000 experience, and before you know it, you're at 20,060 experience. That's really what I did to get this gun. I played it in increments, and yeah, it's still terrible, but it really helps you at least just a little bit with the grind. It is one of the worst grinds, but you will be very happy when you get this gun. Yes, your armor's still bad. Yes, your turret's not the best, but this gun makes this tank a lot more valuable. Yes, it takes a while to reload, but you can pop around a corner, aim, make sure you don't miss your shot. Don't rush your shot if you can help it because you don't want to miss. And then you can just watch and laugh as you blast half or more of the enemy's health away. A well-aimed shot at a leopard can take 3/4 of the leopard's health away, which is why this gun is so powerful and very useful, and definitely worth the grind. There's also another reason you want to get this gun. Not only will it help you get experience on this tank and actually win some battles, and not only will it make you able to actually face tier 8 heavies and other tanks, but when you get your IS, that's actually a gun that you get on this tank. So you're gonna have to get it anyway. And if you get it on the KV-1S, then you've saved yourself a lot of grinding, and you only have to get about 12,000 experience to get that next turret, and then you've already got a good gun. This is the horrible gun that you have to use to get to this gun, and it's the gun you're going to have to use to get to either of these guns, which both cost a lot. So if you get this gun, this grind will be a lot easier because you only have to get 12,000 for the turret, and then you've got a good gun waiting for you. So this tank is really good when you have this gun, but it still has its limitations, as you will see in the replays. First of all, because the hull is similar to the KV-1, even though it has less armor, you've got the same problems. I mean, the problems don't matter because they don't matter that much because you can still kind of get penetrated from anywhere, but similar issues, like this part of the upper glacis, which is really goodly sloped, you will find that you do bounce shots in that, even in the KV-1S. But this part of the upper glacis that is not sloped very well, you don't even have to aim for like the machine gun weak spot. You just aim anywhere for this upper part of the glacis, and you will always penetrate. Sides and rear, though, you don't really have to worry because it's 60. You can hit it wherever you want. And unless there's nothing else to shoot at, you really don't want to shoot at the turret of this tank. I mean, you will penetrate pretty much every time, but why shoot for this when you've got weaker armor on the hull? If you don't have the option to shoot for anything except the turret, well, I guess you have to. Then you should probably aim for the weak spot, the hatch up here, or at least the sides, because it does have 10 less armor. And the thing about this tank is that it does not do well by itself. You want to have support from anyone you're platooning with, or at least be next to your allies because of that horrible reload and your horrible armor. If you get tracked in the middle of the open and you're the only tank there, everybody's going to see, ooh, a KV-1S, and you will see lots of guns turning your way, and you will just get beaten up, shoot up, and spit out, because you only have 990 or 60, I believe, health. Your armor is crap, and once you fire that gun, if the players have played this tank, or they're really good and they know about this gun, they will know that yes, it does a lot of damage, so don't get hit, but if he's fired, then they've got plenty of time to take a shot at you, and maybe even more than once. And you will find that they will hang around and maybe use one of their friendly tanks as bait. And then when you take a shot and hit or miss, which would be even better for them, they'll all come out and pepper you with shots. And then you'll try again, and you'll either miss or you'll kill them, but then you have to reload again, and they will pepper you with more shots, and you'll be dead. So you do not want to be alone in this tank. You want to have help. Any help is good, because in this tank, if you are swarmed by more than one tank, even just one light tank can obliterate you. If a leopard does get behind you, where your gun can't turn fast enough to get to it, you are in serious trouble. You want to have help when you play this tank. I keep saying that, but I want to make it very clear. Great gun, the gun you want, but you want to have help in this tank, even when you have this gun. Do not play this tank alone without any of your team helping you, or you will die every single time. Alright, now that I finished blabbing my head off about this strange tank, let's get on to the replays. So, here we are on Oasis Palms, Tier 6 game, which is actually quite rare in the KV-1S. You usually just get Tier 7 games, and every so often get a tier 8 game, but you don't usually get a lot of tier 6 games. Anyway, this battle is basically to show you what happens when your team is not that smart or doesn't care and fails to support you. So I'm just heading up this way because I didn't know if they were going to head for the town, and because a KV-1S is supposed to have allies to back it up, usually I see tanks heading this way, so I was going to just follow with everyone else, but they seem to be more interested in the town, so I'm heading this way. There's a leopard, and do way over half his health. And there's the slow reload time you can see right there. And you'll notice that I start screaming in chat quite a bit for help, and you probably already know what happens, but I don't really get any. Leopard's down. I actually am racked him. It's a VK 28.01 and an M4 Jumbo that I gotta worry about. That guy seems a bit more interested in what's going on in the town though, so I think I might have a chance with just the Jumbo, although my reload might slow me down. Turns out though, he's not alone. Also a Panzer IV. I have no idea how that shot ricocheted, but it did. And here I am yelling for help again, which none comes. And there's way too many tanks here for me to take on myself, so backing off. Actually, get a good shot on this guy just as he starts backing off and actually set him on fire. But no help is coming, and it should be pretty obvious. I mean, there's 4 enemy tanks, or maybe 3, but a lot of enemy tanks, and I'm the only one over here. And the team might be busy fighting what's near them, but I knew from this point on that I wasn't getting any help, and I was pretty much dead. Thinking I might get one more hit into this Jumbo. Do bounce, luckily. But I don't get another hit. Bounce 2 more shots, and I'm out of the game. So an important lesson, you really need to have team help, and even if the team is not going the way that you are, you should probably change directions and follow your team, because it might not come to you. There's me in chat showing my displeasure for the lack of help. So here we are on Mirage, another tier 6 battle, and there is actually another KV-1S on the team. I want to see what gun he has, and it looks like, yep, he's got the top gun, which is great. And this battle is an example of what happens when your team does know what they're doing and you do actually get help, or give help. This KV-1S is requesting some help. I was going to go straight up the hill, but I decided to go around the lake with him. And the cool thing about the KV-1S is when there's more than one of them and they all have the top gun, they can be a very deadly force. One of them can take a shot, and while the other one is reloading, that one can take a shot as well. So there's a KV-1S, walks right in my gun, and I'm glad to see he does not have the top gun. The other KV-1S takes a shot, and he's on to 39%. Panzer IV, and try to get behind this rock so that I don't take any more shots. So when you have someone who's helping you, not only are there more targets for the enemy team to shoot at, but you both deal more damage, especially when you both KV-1Ss with the top gun. Put that Stug on 90 health, and that Panzer IV isn't looking too smart anymore. Shoot him through the building and get rid of him. So on our side currently right now, it's just the KV-1S, that VK over there, and the Stug. KV gets this lucky shot into me. I'm waiting for him to pop out, while the other KV-1S destroys that guy. And I kill him, and I actually completed the mission. And VK decides to take shots at me, and this is why the KV is great when there's buildings in the map, because first of all, they provide cover, second of all, it could poke its nose around corners and shoot the enemy, and then back off to reload. And that's actually my third kill. I helped my teammate in this match finish off that other guy. And I've noticed that T-34 is camping near their spawn and putting shots to me. So our T-150 is going forward. And he's gonna be the main reason why that T-34 dies. There's just that T-34 and an AT-7, I believe, on the enemy team left. And our team is just about to finish off that AT-7. And there we go. So it's just this T-34. I do miss him with my shot, but doesn't matter because 150 gets him. So the KV-1S. It's not really terrible. It's not really a terrible tank. It just requires that you have support from your team members, or else you're not really gonna do that good. But anyway, I would definitely recommend this tank, especially if you want to get down to like the IS-7. You're gonna have to play this tank. It's just great to know what strategies you need to successfully play this tank. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, and goodbye.